MTG Scoundrels, it's in the cardboard.
Ladies and gentlemen, scoundrels of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Modern Weekly. Today on the docket, we have Jeskai Prowess versus Vivi Good Stuff. Reality is, it's a Vivi Ascendancy list that's not playing Jeskai Ascendancy. However, we have a Pithing Needle here on turn 1, naming Slick Shot Show Off, which I know sounds crazy. It's just a blind name and getting an artifact on the battlefield, it looks like. We're not going to go ahead and show that on the top here, because now that Pithing Needle doesn't really mean much. But here we are, moving to turn 1 of the Prowess list. Mountain into Dragon's Rage Channeler. Into a Mishra's Bauble, surveilling. Putting a bauble in the bin, cracking a bauble. Oh, looks like a Flame of Anor on top. There's a Mox Opal. Mox Amber. That's why we said just to get an artifact on the battlefield, because there's a Cori Steelcutter. And passing the turn. These Vivi lists really have adopted Cori Steelcutter. So here's a Lightning Bolt. That's going to go 3 to the Dome. Bring us to 20 to 17. Surveil. Putting an EI in the bin. Attacking. Just getting hit for 1 here. Passing. There's the Scalding Tarn. That's going to get cracked. Looking like going to 13 here. Finding a Steam Vents. Jeskai essentially ramping ahead of the Prowess counterpart. There's a Lightning Bolt. That's going to deal with the DRC. There's a Galvanic Blast going up top. And then attacking in for another 2. Brings us to 14 to 13. Oh, there's another Dragon's Rage Channeler. Not finding a second land. Proving to be a problem. Okay, here's 3 mana. There's a Flame of Anor. No wizard on the battlefield. So just drawing 2 cards. It'll be a Prowess trigger. Interesting. Okay, attacking him for 3. That'll bring us to 11 to 13. Do we have a second land? Okay. DRC getting in. Violent Urge. Here to try and make this a little bit more of a hit. That's 11 to 5 now. Surveil trigger. Keeping it on top must be a land. Here's 3 mana. There's Vivi. And there's a Preordain. So 1 damage being dealt. Counter going on Vivi. Another dude being made for the Cori Steelcutter. And Preordain is going to resolve. One top, one bottom. Oh, looks like taking a Preordain here. Adding 1 mana off the Vivi. And there is a... well, there's the preordain we were just talking about. Pinging the opponent, 9-5. Scrying 2 to the bottom, drawing a card. Attacking in. Looks like for 6. That'll bring us to 3-5. There's the land we were just talking about. Probably the main reason that stayed on top. Cracking the Arid Mesa to cast a Slick Shot Show Off. That 2 life, though, that is what's killing it. Cutting off the mutagenic growth play. Kind of crazy how these Prowess decks can survive off of so little mana. Yep, had the mutagenic growth in hand. But attacking with 2 flyers, which would bring us to 2-1. And that'll do it. Game 1. Going to VV Value Town. Thank you all so much for watching us here at MTG Scoundrels. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. I appreciate all of you who have subscribed recently. As we continue to move through the modern format, now that we have exited the RCQ season, sideboarding decisions here, probably a certain amount of wear tears coming in for the Prowess list, maybe a prismatic ending or 2, and the VV list is probably doing something similar, maybe also bringing in a Haywire Might to try to hit these Quarry Steel Cutters from the opponent. But Wear Tear being a pretty solid option here for Jeskai Prowess. Granted, some Spell Pierce is not a bad option to bring in either, if you're really looking to move to more of a controlling list. Moving to our ads here, thank you so much to our friends over at Arcane Artistry. They make wonderful food, clue, and treasure tokens in the stained glass style and are looking to have more tokens coming out here in the future. So definitely check them out. They've been featured over on EDH Hijinks as well as the Spike Feeders. And they're definitely our favorite tokens here, so definitely check them out. Of course, check out our sponsor of our channel, host of our channel, Grove Warden Games. A wonderful place to store them out. Their card link in the description as well as their storefront, if you're looking to buy singles. And of course, check out our friend and artist Sean Gerard, makes art for the channel. Just an overall good human being. They are open to new projects, and honestly, I find their work tasteful for a professional setting or if you're looking to get a gift for a friend. So definitely check them out. QR code on the screen and email in the description. And last but not least, check out our socials. We are at MTG Scoundrels over on Blue Sky, on X/Twitter, and of course Facebook. Give us a follow over there, say hello, leave us comments, like and subscribe on the video. We're definitely here to interact with you guys and appreciate all the interaction. It helps us out. Definitely let us know what decks you're excited for. We just had Edge of Eternities come out, and Quantum Riddler has really made its presence known. Of course, the new Tezzeret is starting to see play in these more traditional mono-green Tron lists. Which is pretty wild. A deck full of 1-drops and then just planeswalkers, essentially, to finish the game off. Both players shuffling up. We will be moving forward here shortly into game number 2. Prowess list should have a little bit more of an advantage here on the play. Oh, looks like they are going to 6. Modern is definitely in a fun place currently. And I'd argue in one of the healthier spots it's been in a while. We are looking to put out a new video here in the next couple of weeks going in a deep dive on the format in terms of what the best decks are. And what is a deck you would like to invest in to possibly not have to deal with bans in the future. Of course, these are just suggestions, and your mileage may vary. It's like Prowess, definitely staying on 6. All right, here we are fetching. Going to 17. Probably just finding steam vents here. Yep, there it is. And there's a preordain. Scrying 2. Ooh, keep them both top, drawing a card. Alright. Not what the Vivi player necessarily wants to see here. Here's a steam vents. Into a preordain. If this wasn't game 2, you'd think they'd just be the same deck looking at each other. Okay, here's a Sacred Foundry coming in. Going to 15. And a Kori Steelcutter. But that's going to get hit with a Force of Negation. Misty Rain Forest. Into a Haywire Might. Passing the turn. Another Kori Steelcutter. Misty Rainforest going to get cracked here. Bring us to at least $15 to $17, but I believe we'll be at $15 to $15. Yep, there is a hollowed fountain. And yep, looks like some sideboard tech really coming into play here. Kori Steelcutter getting hit by Spell Pierce and previously getting hit by Force of Negation. Here's a Preordain. Putting both to the bottom, drawing a card. Looks like the Vivi deck wanting to hit that third land. There's a Mox Opal. There's a Mishra's Bauble. Attacking in with a Haywire Might. One card in hand for the Vivi player. Ooh, top deck third land for the Jeskai Prowess player. Starting off with Dragon's Rage Channeler. There's a lot of cards there. Alright, Lava Dart. That'll deal with the Haywire Might. The Vivi deck going to gain 2 life here. Surveil Trigger, I guess, getting missed. Bauble's going to get cracked. Looks like a Holy Heat on top. Scalding Tarn getting cracked. Finding a Thundering Falls. Surveil incoming. So we're sitting at 14 to 16. Both players confirming. Yep, should be 14 to 16. There's the Surveil. Going to the bin. Drawing 2 cards, one off the bauble, one for turn. There's a prismatic ending that's going to deal with the DRC. Here's a Preordain. Keeping one top, putting one at the bottom, drawing a card. There's a Mishra's Bauble. And passing the turn. Passing back. Prowess player keeping spells in hand until they find a threat. Oh, here's something spicy. Here's a Matoya Archon Elder. Letting you draw cards off of Scries and Surveils. However, that's going to get hit by an Unholy Heat here. Drawing a card for turn and passing. Like that was a Lava Dart. Here's another Preordain. Scrying 2. Pretty nuts with Matoya. Finding a Galvanic Blast. A Force of Negation that's not doing much in hand. Fetch land, go. There's a Tamiyo. Instep, cracking the fetch. Finding a Thundering Falls. Sitting at 13 to 16. Is there a threat on top? That would indicate there is. There's the Monastery Swiftspear. Here's a prismatic ending that's going to exile the Tamiyo. In response, Galvanic Blast. Though it was already out of reach of that Galvanic Blast. Lava Dart went to the face. Swiftspear attacking in for 3. That'll bring us to 13 to 12. Here's Flame of Anor, deciding to draw 2 cards instead of dealing with the threat. There's a Bauble. There's a Dragon's Rage Channeler. Swiftspear getting in. Lightning Bolt. Going to the face. 5 damage. There's Lava Dart. That'll be 4 more damage. So that's up to 9. And there's the Mutagenic Growth, which should do the last 3. And that'll do it for Game 2. Game 2 going to Jeskai Prowess. Thank you all so much for watching us here at MTG Scoundrels. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. Both players shuffling up quickly here to get to Game 3. And what a match it has been. Prowess being on the draw here. I'll definitely give the Vivi player some breathing room. It's one of the better ways to beat Prowess. Don't let them be on the play. Alright, finishing off the shuffling here. Looks like Prowess is going to 6 again. Oh, there's some sideboard cards there. Yep, going to 6. Vivi on 7, and here we go. There's an island. Into a preordain. Putting one top and one to the bottom, passing the turn. And should have drawn their card. Remember to completely resolve your spells, ladies and gents. And here is a preordain as well. After going to 17. One bottom, one top. Drawn a card. Here's a second land. Only taking one off the Scalding Tarn. Finding a mountain. That would indicate the Vivi player must have brought in Harbinger of the Seas. Here's a Quarry Steelcutter. There is a Mox Opal to trigger the Quarry Steelcutter and attack in for 2. I'll bring us to 15 and 19. Arid Mesa for turn. Cracking. Finding a mountain. Reading the signals. Bring us to 14 and 19. And here's a Wear Tear. That's going to destroy target artifact. Misty Rainforest? No. Deciding against it. Here's an Archive to surveil. Keeping it on top. Passing the turn. Not attacking in. Probably trying to mess with the math here. Well, apparently there are at least 2 lands in hand for the Vivi player. Here's a Preordain. Putting Mutagenic Growth to the bottom and drawing the Prismatic Ending. Urza's Saga. Attacking in. That's going to get hit with a bolt. Scalding Tarn getting cracked on end step. Finding a Thundering Falls. Keeping it on top. Drawing for turn. Tapped Sacred Foundry. we're going to see 2 cracks, essentially, of a Mishra's Bauble. Finding Hollowed Fountain. And in the upkeep, drawing 2 cards. Both players in a stare-off right now. There's the Misty Rainforest we saw earlier, passing the turn. Arid Mesa getting cracked. That'll bring us to 12 to 19, depending on what's found. Looks like a mountain. Double Slick Shot Show Off. Attacking in. Looks like only hitting for 2 here. That'll bring us to 12 to 17. Second main Dragon's Rage Channeler. Getting cast. And on end step, the Vivi player cracking their Misty Rainforest and activating the Urza Saga. So we currently have a 2/2 Construct. Went found a surveil land, surveilled a land to the bin. And here we are in response to the trigger. 12 to 16. Saga is going to make a guy go searching. Finding a Shadow Spear. Playing a Hollowed Fountain, going to 14. Casting a Vivi. Here's a Mox Amber, deal 1 damage. Bringing us to 11 to 14. Shadow Spear being found off of the Urza's Saga. And of course being attached to one of these Constructs, specifically one that doesn't have Summoning Sickness. Dealing 6 damage, gaining 6 life. That brings us to 5 to 20. That Shadow Spear here is huge. 2 cards in hand. Even if you have 2 spells, unless you have... not even Mutagenic Growth's going to do the job here. Alright, starting with a Prismatic Ending. That can either deal with the Shadow Spear... well, honestly can deal with any of the artifacts on the board. Going to deal with one of the Constructs surveilling. One Prowess trigger attacking in. That's 9 damage. That'll bring us to 5 to 11. Drawing for turn. Bunch of cards in hand. There's a Scalding Tarn. Activating the Shadow Spear to attach it to one of the Constructs. Attacking with everybody. There's an Unholy Heat. But there's the Force of Negation. Pinging for 1. And that'll do it. Game, set, match. Going to Jeskai Vivi. Thank you all so much for watching us here at MTG Scoundrels. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. And we will see you all next week.